Alfred Hitchcock exposed the 9 stars whose racism old Hollywood covered up. For 6 decades, Alfred Hitchcock sat at the center of Hollywood. From the 1920s through 1980, the master of suspense directed over 50 feature films. Working with the biggest names in the industry where hundreds of Hollywood actors rotated through his productions, he saw everyone up close. He knew what happened when the cameras stopped rolling. But Hitchcock was not just an observer. He was a British outsider who arrived in Hollywood in 1939 and immediately recognized the system for what it was. While the rest of the industry forced black actors into degrading stereotypes, Hitchcock cast Lee in his 1944 film Lifeboat, one of the first major black-speaking roles in a major Hollywood production. He allowed Lee to write his own dialogue and refused to speak in the demeaning dialect that studios demanded from black performers. At a time when Hollywood treated black talent as props, Hitchcock treated one as an artist, and that is what made him dangerous to the system. Hitchcock understood something the studios never wanted the public to know. He understood that the real horror is never what appears on the surface. It is always what is hiding underneath. He spent 6 decades watching Hollywood protect its biggest names. He saw the blackface performances that received standing ovations. He watched stars smile for cameras and whisper slurs behind closed doors. He saw the studio system bury every scandal that threatened the carefully constructed image. Because Hitchcock understood better than anyone that the darkness you cannot see is always worse than the darkness you can. These are the 9 stars whose racism old Hollywood covered up. And it starts with the most beloved child in America. Number 9, Shirley Temple. When Hitchcock arrived in Hollywood in 1939, the biggest box office star in America was not Clark Gable or Cary Grant. It was a 10-year-old girl. Shirley Temple had been the #1 box office draw in the country for 4 consecutive years. An unprecedented reign that no child star has matched since. To the public, she was America's sweetheart, the dimpled angel who sang and danced her way through the Great Depression. Innocence personified. But Hitchcock, the man who built his career on seeing the darkness beneath every polished surface, could see exactly what her films were selling. Temple starred in a series of plantation fantasy films that presented slavery as a heartwarming fairy tale. In The Little Colonel and The Littlest Rebel, both released in 1935 and Dimples in 1936, she played adorable white children on plantations where the slaves were happy, grateful, and existed only to serve. The legendary tap dancer Bill Robinson was cast as her devoted servant, a man whose extraordinary talent was reduced to entertaining a white child. The word "pissanize" appeared in dialogue, and in The Littlest Rebel, Shirley Temple herself appeared in blackface. But here is how old Hollywood covered it up. The staircase dance between Temple and Robinson in The Little Colonel was the first interracial dance sequence in American film history. It was so groundbreaking that Southern theaters demanded it be cut from their prints because it showed a white child holding hands with a black man. And Hollywood complied without protest. They simply removed the evidence. Robinson, the greatest tap dancer alive, and the real draw of these films, was built 14th in the credits behind white actors with a fraction of his talent. Off-screen, he was forced to stay in separate facilities while Temple received private cottages. Hollywood sold America a fantasy of racial harmony on screen while enforcing segregation behind it. But if Temple was the innocent face Hollywood used to romanticize slavery, the next name on this list was the voice America trusted most. And what he did on camera was even worse. Number 8, Bing Crosby. Hitchcock and Crosby were operating at the peak of their powers in the same era of Hollywood. While Hitchcock was crafting Notorious and Rope In the 1940s, Crosby was the biggest entertainer on earth, #1 at the box office, #1 on radio, #1 on the record charts, America's most beloved performer, the easygoing crooner in the cardigan who seemed incapable of offense. But Bing Crosby performed in blackface not once, not as a young unknown before he knew better, but repeatedly at the height of his fame. His 1942 film Holiday Inn features a full blackface musical number celebrating Abraham Lincoln's birthday. The irony of performing in blackface to honor the president who freed the slaves was apparently lost on everyone involved. Earlier performances in King of Jazz in 1930 and other productions show that blackface was not a one-time lapse, but a recurring part of Crosby's career. His own family later revealed the racist jokes he told at home, further shattering the wholesome image, and old Hollywood's cover-up was masterful. Holiday Inn was a massive commercial success. It introduced White Christmas, which became the best-selling single in the history of recorded music. The blackface scenes were quietly buried under the success. When the film was rebroadcast on television for decades afterward, the blackface number was simply edited out. No public statement, no acknowledgement, just silent removal. The cover-up was so effective that most Americans have never seen the full version of the film that gave them their most beloved Christmas song. Crosby performed in blackface, and Hollywood buried it under a holiday classic. But the next star took racial mockery to another level entirely, and he never once apologized for it. Number 7. Mickey Rooney. Rooney was MGM's most valuable asset during Hitchcock's early Hollywood years. The Andy Hardy films made him the #1 box office star in America in 1939, the very year Hitchcock arrived. He was the symbol of wholesome American boyhood, the versatile entertainer who could handle comedy, drama, and musicals with equal ease. But in 1961, Rooney delivered what is now considered one of the most infamously racist performances in cinema history. In Breakfast at Tiffany's, Rooney played Mr. Yuniyoshi, a Japanese neighbor wearing buck-teeth prosthetics, taped back eyelids, and speaking in a grotesque, exaggerated accent. This was not a brief cameo. It was a recurring role designed for maximum humiliation of an entire ethnicity. Performed by a white actor in full yellowface in 1961, while past any era where ignorance could serve as an excuse, the cover-up followed the familiar pattern. Breakfast at Tiffany's was a massive critical and commercial success. Audrey Hepburn became a style icon. Moon River became a beloved standard. Hollywood celebrated the film for decades while pretending the Yuniyoshi performance simply did not exist. When confronted years later, Rooney claimed he was just trying to be funny and said he never received complaints from Japanese people, a claim contradicted by decades of documented protests. No studio executive ever acknowledged the offense. No apology was ever issued by the production. Rooney was an actor who played a racist role, and Hollywood erased it from the conversation. But the next entry on this list is the director who built the very infrastructure that made all of Hollywood's racism possible, and then used that infrastructure to destroy anyone who tried to fight back. Number 6. Cecil B. Deal. Hitchcock personally cited Deal's 1921 film Forbidden Fruit as one of his top 10 favorite movies. They were the only two directors in Hollywood history whose names appeared on Theodore Mares above the title of the film. They were peers at the highest level of the industry. But while Hitchcock used his power to craft suspense and explore human psychology, Deal used his to build the system that kept Hollywood's racists protected and its challengers silenced. Deal is celebrated as the founding father of Hollywood, the man who made the Ten Commandments, a pioneer of American cinema. But in 1944, Demily co-founded the Motion Picture Alliance for the Preservation of American Ideals, an organization that was described by its opponents as supportive of Jim Crow laws and segregation. He made Northwest Mounted Police in 1940, which critics called one of his most racist films. His 1915 production, The Cheat, trafficked in anti-Asian stereotypes so offensive that the Japanese government the character. But Deal's most damaging contribution was structural. He tried to force loyalty oaths on every member of the Directors Guild of America. Anyone who refused was to be expelled. The Motion Picture Alliance did not just hold conservative views. It was the machine that enforced Hollywood's racial status quo. Its membership read like a roster of power: Walt Disney, John Wayne, Walter Brennan, Ward Bond. Deal helped build the blacklist that destroyed the careers of anyone who challenged the system. While his own legacy was buried under biblical epics and the Golden Globe Lifetime Achievement Award that still bears his name today, Deal built the infrastructure. But he needed an enforcer, someone who could reach 35 million Americans every single day and tell them exactly who to love and who to destroy. And that enforcer sat right at the center of Hitchcock's world. Number 5. Hopper. Every star Hitchcock ever directed lived in fear of one woman. Hopper's gossip column reached 35 million readers daily. She could launch a career with a single paragraph or end one with a sentence. And when Hopper targeted Hitchcock's own star, Ingrid Bergman, helping to drive her into exile from Hollywood over a personal scandal, Hitchcock saw firsthand how the cover-up machine operated. Hopper was presented to America as Hollywood's beloved gossip queen. The woman in the fabulous hats, the journalist who gave fans their inside scoop. But behind that persona, Hopper was the enforcement arm of old Hollywood's racial order. She used her column to actively defend racist roles for black actors on screen. She attacked civil rights organizations like the NAACP when they criticized Hollywood stereotypes. She campaigned for a special Academy Award for James Baskett's performance as Uncle Remus in Song of the South, not despite the racism of the role, but because of what it represented. She was the voice telling 35 million Americans every day that Hollywood's treatment of black people was not just acceptable, but admirable and patriotic. And the cover-up she facilitated went far deeper than gossip. Hopper collaborated directly with the FBI to destroy careers. She was one of the driving forces behind the Hollywood blacklist, weaponizing her readership against anyone who challenged the status quo. She defended racial stereotyping while wrapping it in the language of American values. Her column did not merely cover up Hollywood's racism. It actively repackaged racism as patriotism and sold it to the largest readership in the country. Hooper sold the cover-up to the public. But the next name on this list did not just influence Hollywood. He single-handedly revived the most violent hate organization in American history. And Hollywood has been protecting his legacy for over a century. Number 4. D.W. Griffith. Every single technique Alfred Hitchcock used to become the master of suspense was invented or perfected by one man. The close-up, the cross-cut, the fade-in, the parallel edit. D.W. Griffith did not just influence Hitchcock. He built the entire cinematic language that made Hitchcock's career possible. He created the visual grammar of modern film. And then he used that grammar to produce the most destructive piece of racist propaganda in American history. The Birth of a Nation premiered in 1915. It was a 3-hour epic that portrayed the Ku Klux Klan as heroic saviors of the American South and depicted black people as dangerous, violent, and subhuman. White actors in blackface played freed slaves as lustful predators. The film was screened at the White House for President Woodrow Wilson, and it worked. In December 1915, William Joseph Simmons revived the Ku Klux Klan in Atlanta, Georgia, directly inspired by the film. The Klan grew from near extinction to an estimated 5 million members by 1925. The Birth of a Nation was used as a Klan recruiting tool well into the 1960s. Historians have directly credited this single film with the resurgence of the most violent domestic terrorist organization in American history, and the cover-up has lasted over a century. Griffin was never held accountable. When confronted about racism, he compared black people to children in his care, saying that accusing him of being anti-Negro was like saying he was against children. Hollywood named its most prestigious directing award after him. Film schools taught his techniques for generations while minimizing the fact that his masterpiece was white supremacist recruitment material. The cover-up was so thorough that an entire art form was built on a foundation of racist propaganda, and the industry spent a century pretending the technical achievement could be separated from the hatred it was designed to serve. Griffith created the language of cinema and weaponized it for racial terror. But at least Griffith operated in the silent era when many Americans might claim ignorance. The next name on this list has no such excuse. He won 3 Academy Awards, more than any supporting actor in history. And then he celebrated murder. Number 3. Walter Brennan. Walter Brennan was the most decorated supporting actor in Hollywood history. 3 Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actor, a record that still stands today. He worked in the same studio system as Hitchcock for decades, appearing in over 230 films across nearly 5 decades. To the public, he was America's grandfather, the lovable, toothless old-timer from The Real McCoys, the warm, country-fried character everyone adored. But the man behind that carefully crafted persona held views darker than anything Hitchcock ever put on screen. Brennan was a member and spokesperson of the John Birch Society. In the 1960s, he recorded albums at Birch Society conventions, speaking in his beloved Grandpa Amos character voice about Negroes and the civil rights movement being a communist plot to overthrow America. He told reporters that the civil rights demonstrations in Birmingham and the riots in Watson, Newark, were the result of perfectly content black people being stirred up by a handful of troublemakers with an anti-American agenda. He believed the Watts riots should have been stopped, in his words, with a machine gun. He endorsed George Wallace for president in 1968, the segregationist candidate. He considered John Wayne too liberal. He built a bunker on his estate stocked with weapons and food, awaiting the Soviet invasion he was convinced was imminent. And then came the moment that revealed everything. In 1968, on the set of The Guns of Wilsonnet, when news broke that Martin Luther King Jr. had been assassinated, cast and crew watched in horror as Walter Brennan, three-time Academy Award winner and America's beloved grandfather, reportedly danced a jig of celebration. He later expressed similar satisfaction at the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy, and old Hollywood said nothing. None of it made the papers at the time. Brennan kept working. He kept his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. His biography, published decades later, buried his racism in the final pages as an afterthought. Hollywood protected America's grandfather because the truth would have destroyed one of its most profitable myths. Brennan celebrated murder, and Hollywood stayed silent. But the next name on this list said the quiet part out loud in a national magazine for the entire world to read. Number 2. John Wayne. Wayne and Hitchcock represented two competing visions of Hollywood power. Hitchcock directed from the shadows, manipulating audiences through psychological tension. Wayne stood in the spotlight, the embodiment of American masculinity for 3 decades. They moved through the same industry, attended the same events, and shared many of the same colleagues. And in 1971, John Wayne did something that even Hollywood's cover-up machine could not fully bury. In a Playboy interview published that year, Wayne declared, and these are his exact words, "I believe in white supremacy until blacks are educated to a point of responsibility on Native Americans." He stated that he did not feel America did wrong in taking the country away from them, calling it just a matter of survival. He served as president of the Motion Picture Alliance for the Preservation of American Ideals, the same organization in a major national magazine and read by millions. The cover-up held. Wayne's career continued without interruption. No boycotts materialized. No studio severed ties with him. No apology was ever issued. Hollywood continued to celebrate him as the face of American values. Decades later, when a California legislature voted against declaring a John Wayne Day, many Americans reacted with shock as though the 1971 interview had never existed. In 2019, when activists called for his name to be removed from John Wayne Airport in Orange County, the controversy revealed just how thoroughly Hollywood had buried one of the most explicitly white supremacist statements any major star has ever made on the record. Wayne said the words out loud, and Hollywood pretended he never spoke them. But the number 1 name on this list did not just hold racist views. He built an empire that shaped how millions of children understood race before they were old enough to question what they were watching. Number 1. Walt Disney. Alfred Hitchcock and Walt Disney were the two most powerful creative forces in American entertainment during the 20th century. They operated in the same Hollywood, navigated the same studio system, and built empires that would outlast them both. They were even connected through the same organization. Disney was a co-founder of the Motion Picture Alliance for the Preservation of American Ideals alongside Cecil B. Deal, the same group that John Wayne would later lead and that Walter Brennan would champion. But while Hitchcock used his power to explore the darkness hiding in human nature, Disney used his to sell a version of America where that darkness was painted over with a smile and a song. To the world, he was Uncle Walt, the man who gave us Mickey Mouse, Disneyland, and childhood itself. The most trusted name in family entertainment. But documented studio communications reveal that Disney referred to the black child performers in early Disney productions as pickaninnies. His 1946 film Song of the South portrayed a romanticized post-Civil War plantation where Uncle Reese, a formerly enslaved man, sings about what a wonderful day it is while living in conditions barely distinguishable from slavery. Decades of Disney animations delivered racial caricatures directly into the living rooms of millions of American families. The Crows in Dumbo in 1941, including one literally named Jim Crow, the Siamese Cats and Lady in 1955, King Louie in The Jungle Book in 1967, each one embedding racial stereotypes into the imaginations of children who were too young to recognize what they were absorbing. And the cover-up was the most sophisticated in entertainment history because it was institutional. Disney did not just hold racist views. He built a machine that delivered those views directly into the minds of children across generations. Song of the South was eventually so damaging to the brand that Disney locked it in the vault, refusing to release it on home video in the United States. Splash Mountain, the beloved theme park ride based on the film's characters, was not closed and reimagined until 2023. The company spent decades quietly distancing itself from its own creation without ever publicly acknowledging what it had done or why. No formal apology was issued. No explanation was offered, just silent erasure. The exact same strategy old Hollywood had always used to protect its most valuable names. Alfred Hitchcock built his entire career on a single principle. The real horror is never what you can see. It is always what is hiding underneath the surface. These 9 stars were protected by the most powerful cover-up machine ever constructed, the old Hollywood studio system. Their racism was hidden behind Academy Awards, Christmas songs, children's cartoons, gossip columns, and the mythology of American greatness. But Hitchcock understood something the studios never wanted anyone to know. The mask always slips. The truth always surfaces. And now you have seen what was hiding underneath. If this video opened your eyes, like and share too. Support the channel and subscribe for more untold stories from old Hollywood.